in just a little bit of color here because we obviously were talking about Powell getting potentially fired. And then the major media picked it up around 10:30. So they were way behind pre-market prep. But we knew because we were watching social media and they were talking about this. Major media ran a story, I think it was CNBC or one of the others, and around 10:30, and you saw the market tank 50 handles. So we had an answer to your question because we were trying to discuss whether the market would see it as a positive or a negative. Clearly, they're going to see it as a negative because we dropped 50 handles. And then in the afternoon, Donald Trump says, just kidding. No, I'm not firing him. No. So I feel like it was a tester. I feel like he was throwing out a tester, dropping the rumors out there to see what the market's response is, see the market like tank on the rumors. He's like, nah, let's bring those rumors back because we don't want the market going down. You know, nobody defends the market better than Mr. Trump. So, Brentster, you want to add some color here too.
Yeah, sure. And you did a good job, Dennis, laying out sort of the timeline. And if you zoom in on like your SPY or your futures chart and you go to like a 1-minute chart, you can see in volume and moves lower and rebounds when each of these headlines hit. So, you know, like the news is just so important in this regard. And the big question that we were getting asked in the YouTube chat yesterday was, wait a second, Trump can't actually do this, right? And, you know, we were kind of like, he can actually. And to answer that question, the WSJ has some really good angles here this morning on how this could actually happen. And Dennis, I don't think you've heard this yet, and you're probably not going to believe this, but this is what the WSJ is saying. Justified or not, I'm not saying that, but here's what the WSJ is saying. They are saying that at the beginning of this year, Powell basically approved a $3 billion renovation of the Fed's headquarters in Washington, D.C. And Trump is saying that Powell either, one, lied to Congress about this renovation and the cost of it, or two, grossly mismanagement. This is their bargaining chip that they are trying to use to take a legal tack and maybe get Powell fired one day.
Because yesterday, when they were talking with Trump, to add to that, he also said, I can't fire him unless it was fraud. He said that.
There you go.
There's fraud involved. So if they try to find and prove fraud, they can fire him. Otherwise, you know, he's gone in like 10 months. So we're talking, you know, so I mean, either way, interest rates are coming because the next Fed chair is going to be a dove of all doves, like the one that's going to, I honestly think the next Fed chair is going to lower rates almost on their first day, like first meeting, as soon as they possibly can. So the interest rates are going to go lower here coming because Powell is going to be gone. Do I think they should? I like what Powell's doing. I think he's done a fabulous job, you know, navigating here as of late. Maybe it was too late to start raising rates to beat inflation, but I think he's got the right timeline here. I mean, the stock market's at all-time highs. Why the hell do we got to worry about, you know, like corporate profit, everything, economic numbers have been good. Why let inflation creep back in, you know, and it does, it's there, but, you know, why let the CPI start going up? So we should not stop calling it inflation with CPI because there's two different things. We have real inflation and then we have the CPI. But why let the CPI start climbing here again?
I mean, you know, to say the obvious thing here, and people aren't going to agree with this necessarily, but Trump's focus is the economy. When presidents look back at their term, if the economy did well during a president's term, that's usually the thing that is like a sticking point in their legacy. So, you know, I think the main motivation here from Trump is that he wants to spur the economy even further, and he believes and his advisors believe that lower interest rates are going to get us there and have the U.S. economy go even further than it has, have the markets go even further than it has, and then in 20 years, people can talk about Trump's administration and say, wow, that was the best that the U.S. economy had ever been. And I'm being, you know, a little facetious here and I'm being a little sarcastic, but I think this is the perception.
Well, that's what he likes. He likes hearing he's done the best jobs. You know,
he
wants the economy to be rip-roaring and have the best economy ever. You know, the best numbers, stock market going the most ever. I mean, and this is like a good thing. If you're long stocks, this is a good thing. Like, is it good for the overall, you know, the little guy, everything? You know, half people don't own stocks. I don't know. But I tell you, if you own stocks, Trump is a very stock market friendly president. You know, the first couple months, people were like challenging that it wasn't going to be that way. And that all changed when he kicked the can down the road on, you know, the tariffs.